I have a little list. I wrote everything down because I wanted to make sure that I captured everything for you guys. Hey guys, so I'm back. Today I'm going to be doing a video on travel tips. So pretty much what I'm going to be going over is some of the tips that I have used that have helped me like in the past find cheaper flights, how to pay off my flights, the way I decide between a place where I'm going, the destination, the places that I used to stay. Granted, my tips are going to be based upon how open you are into exploring like many ideas. This video is going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to try to get in as much as information as I can in this video, and I really don't want to cut through a lot of things because these are all tips that have really helped me find the best flights, find the best places, find things to do, budget, so to help you out and get you traveling, dude, because dude, traveling has literally been life-changing for me, and there's so much more to see. There's so much beauty, there's so much out there, and I just love culture. Like, I love seeing the way people adapt to their environments. I love seeing traditions. I love trying new foods, even though sometimes I'm very picky, but I love traveling. Now that I've been to a different country or a different place, I can relate to a person that I meet from that place. With traveling, the first thing that I do, guys, is I go on Google for everything. I'm gonna actually show you guys how I find places, and this is how I do it. Use Google, as I mentioned, and then I just put Google Flights. I use Google Flights because it lets me put in multiple destinations all at once, and it allows me to search as many places as I'd like. So from Florida, the biggest airports here are Miami, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in and just see what my options are from these airports. And then I go into flexible dates. This just opens up for any possible place at any given time, and it's within this next 6 months. So it just pretty much lists me here a few options. I just take a look to see if there's anything that catches my attention. And I see some good ones. And then I'm going to go up and be a little bit more specific and search into Europe. Okay, Paris, cool. Rome, 533. I mean, 533 is still not bad, but it's just, I could do better. So once I select my destination, go to Rome, I look at the hostels in Rome. Just because since it's a little bit more expensive, I'm trying to save an extra buck during this time, and I see that they're fairly priced. This one looks clean. Rome, hello. Oh, okay. It looks cool, clean, middle. It's centrally placed. Let's look at the ratings, the reviews. Most importantly, is it safe? Is it clean? And everything seems to be decent. So once I've looked at the place, I am going to see things to do. Again, I just use Google and I just put in things to do in Rome. This is just going to give me a very broad idea. I know that there's so much more to do in Rome, but it's going to list me like the top things, the top tourist things to see. And this is just going to show me and give me an idea if it's a sightseeing place or if it's an activity place. So Airbnb, I use Airbnb for activities too because they are activities hosted by locals, and I think it's a great thing to really immerse yourself in the culture. I'm going to adjust the price here in a second just because these are a little bit out of my budget, and let's see what our options are within a $30 range instead, because your girl's trying to do the most for the least, ball on a budget. I usually like to look for things with food in them. I've always been a very big foodie, so I'm gonna just keep taking a peek around here. Food tells you a lot about a place, the culture, what's grown, and everything. Ooh, sangrias and spritzers. Okay. Oh, $6 for cottage cheese. I'm in. I just take a quick look, and then I see the pictures. just getting a better idea what we'll be doing, how long is it offered for, what are the ratings. So as you could see, I look for dates, I look for locations. I'm not very picky about where I go. If it's within my budget and it's around the time that I want to go to, then I definitely consider it. Or you're gonna have to be doing like stop-offs. Like pretty much the ticket to Paris was like around 300. So what I would do is I would land in Paris, and from Paris I'd take a flight out to Italy. And that's what I did when I went out to Rome. It was just the cheapest way of getting there. Of course, I would have preferred to do a non-stop trip, but it wasn't within budget. Whenever I see a week and I'm like, okay, this week is super cheap, I book my flight maybe about 4 or 5 months out. I book the flight, and once the flight is booked, that forces me to actually go through with the trip, because there has been times where I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I want to go now. I don't want to give myself that space and that chance to chicken out and not take the trip in the end. So after buying the ticket, I start planning my trip. And if it's something domestically, if I'm going somewhere close, I plan my trip with like 3 months ahead of time. When I'm going international and it's my first time going there, I like to plan with 6 to 9 months out in advance, because I really need time to get a scope of everything. Versus when it's domestic, the biggest thing is language. I speak the language, so it's not going to be such a hard thing to like adjust to or adapt. 3, money. How do I go about my money and how do I spend when it comes to my trips? So usually I give myself a budget. If I'm going somewhere for a week, I say, you know what, depending if I'm going international or domestic, for international, a week, I would like to say 1,200. That is like my max budget. That is something that I will not go over. Granted, there are times, and there has actually never been a time that my parents have not been like, here's an extra 200 bucks, here's an extra 300. So they definitely like give me some money, but still with the money that they give me, I don't tell myself, okay, I'm gonna spend more because they're giving me money. No. So those 200 extra bucks that my parents give me, those are within my 1,200 budget. That just means I have to spend less out of my pocket, but I don't go and say, okay, I'm gonna do an extra activity. If there is something that I was like, oh my god, this is a must, and like because I have the extra money, I'll use it towards it, but it's very rare whenever I exceed what I have already set in stone myself to do. And then the way I make my trips affordable is, one, as you can see, I usually book my flights according to how cheap they are. So if I can find a trip to Paris and I have found trips to Paris for $250, that is part of my budget. And then I usually stay at hostels or an Airbnb. For me, I just need a bed to lay in at the end of the day, but I'm not taking a trip to be at the hotel. I'm taking a trip because I want to be out exploring the entire day, and I literally just come to my Airbnb or my hostel to shower, sleep, and take advantage of the free toast that they give me in the morning. So that's pretty much all that I really like go towards. I don't ever even look at hotels, to be honest. I don't look into them just because it's not within my budget, so I don't even take the time to. I know that some people like their privacy, and I know that there's some people that are like, oh my god, I cannot stay at a hostel, that's not my way, that's not my thing. I recommend getting an Airbnb. There are hostels that not only is it shared like space, but they have like private rooms, so you rent your own room, but you're still sharing like the same showers with everyone else. I really recommend hostels. I love hostels. I have met great people through hostels, and I don't have any complaints. Nothing weird has happened to me at a hostel. Thank God for that. Knock on wood. I don't want to shake my luck, but nothing has ever happened to me at a hostel, which is really good. People that stay at hostels are usually from like the age of 18 to 27, early 30s. And they're all very open-minded people. They're all very welcoming people because they all share a common interest, and that's sharing a space, and they're open to the idea that there is going to be other people in the same area as them. So they're very easygoing people. And what I enjoyed most when I stayed in hostels is that every single night there was someone that didn't have plans in the evening, and I would just go out to dinner with them. I would just be like, hey, I'm gonna go grab pizza, like, would you like to come? And they would come, and So for the most part at hostels, I would say there is very friendly people, which is a great thing. Even if you're an introvert and you're not very like out there and you're pretty shy, there's always going to be someone that matches that personality. 4 on my list. 4 on my list. So what I do once I have created a budget, I open up a credit card that gives me money back for spending on travel and leisure, and I will upload something for that too. I'm going to show you guys what credit card that I recommend getting. Bam. The credit card we got was from Chase. I'm going to go on to credit cards, and it's this one that I'm talking about, the Freedom Unlimited. So you get $200 back after you spend $500, guys. Definitely recommend to not open up this credit card if you have bad credit already. It is so important, and I cannot stress enough how much I want you guys to be able to enjoy your trip as freely as you can. And me, I can't enjoy something knowing that I just purchased something that I won't be able to pay off, or that's going to get me in a financial like rut. Definitely look into the fees, look into what you have to spend in order to get, so be very considerate of that. For instance, what me and my sister did was I had her open up this Chase card, the one that you guys just saw, and I had her put our airplane tickets on the credit card because it would have equaled out to the amount of money that we needed to spend in order to get the $200 rewards. So for example, we bought tickets to California and they were about $350, $400 max, and then she just had to spend like an extra $100 to get the $200 reward. So she had to spend $500 to get $200, and she just used it on her personal things. So what we did was, once we purchased the tickets, once we got the credit card, she purchased the tickets right away. And what she did was she moved those $200 that she got into her rewards and used it to pay off our flights. So our flights in the end were like $150 for both of us, round trip, nonstop. So that was our way of paying for our flights. And not only did we save money and we were able to like use the rewards towards that money that we would have spent out of pocket to maybe go shopping, to like buy ourselves an extra lunch, or to afford to do something else. So I would definitely say to be smart about it. Don't open up a credit card if you know that you're not going to use it for what it is intended it to be used, because that's how you start to just accumulate fees, accumulate and rack up like interest, and that's, you don't want to do that. 5. So check your currency exchanges. For instance, and this is something that I learned because I made the mistake of not doing it. A period where it was super cheap to fly to Europe. At that time when I went, my dollar had like a 60-cent value compared to their euro. So pretty much if something was €1, I was paying like $2 for it. So in the end, it turned out to be a little bit more expensive than what I had expected because I didn't check into their currency rates. And that's something that you want to look into. See what your spending money is going to convert into and see if it's going to be within range, within your budget still. Okay, 6. I start to look into my Airbnb or my hostels. I kind of save this till the last, maybe like 2 months out. I don't really try to book this like with so much time in advance just because it's really not necessary unless you're traveling somewhere because there's a big event. I would definitely recommend you to book with almost a year in advance, like months in advance. But if you're doing just like a local trip or just like a normal trip somewhere, I would say 2 months out. I would definitely look at the reviews for that location. And then once I've decided on the place I'm going to be staying, I look into transportation. So the place that I'm going, do I need to rent a car? Do I need to maybe just walk? Or is Uber and Lyft like the way to go there? For renting cars, there's this website, it's called Turo.com. But there's Turo. It was my first time using them. I had heard about them through another YouTuber that travels. And when we went to California, we wanted to rent a car. But to rent a car, you have to be 24. I'm not 24. My sister's not 24. So we gave it a try with this Turo service. It's pretty much just like an Airbnb. You're renting someone's car, they bring it to you or you go pick it up. Super easy to use, and that's literally all it is. And it was pretty cheap. I think we paid like $30 a day for the car. So once I've looked at all of this, the very last thing that I do is plan the trip itself. So you have pretty much everything that you really need. I start to plan my days. I used to literally create itineraries and do day 1, day 2, and like plan everything by like hour. And I realized I was like, that is not the way to take a trip, because you do get tired, you do get exhausted. Like, as much as you want to see everything within such a little time, you have to rest, because the only way you're gonna enjoy your trip is really like resting and getting your sleep. So now what I do is, just on my iPhone, I just kind of jot down like, okay, if we're here at like for 5 days in California, this is what I have in mind for day 1. This is what I have in mind for day 2. And then I make sure to leave enough space in between everything in case something happens. It's something that you really should look into too, is a time difference. But here's some quick tips to take into consideration too. So tip number 1, your luggage. Use carry-on luggage. You get to save money. There's some airlines that don't charge you for a carry-on, and there's some that do. So look into that too. If you're traveling international, in Europe for instance, they have different plugs, like electricity plugs, than we do. So you want to get one of those. 3, check the weather. There is nothing more satisfying than taking a trip and being comfortable in your own space, in your own environment. And by that I mean just have the right attire and you'll always be Gucci. Take a portable charger. Definitely recommend taking a portable charger. What I'm trying to say here is, in case your phone dies, in case of an emergency, you have your portable charger. 3, I already said 3. 4, be aware of your surroundings. If you want to carry pepper spray, girls, go for it. I've never have, because I just don't make eye contact with anyone. If I feel sketched out, I kind of avoid and leave the place immediately. If there's anything that you guys felt like I didn't cover and needed to be covered, just let me know, send me a message, or just comment on the video, and I'll definitely try to get back to you with like the best response. And if you're taking a trip soon, best of wishes and good luck. I hope you enjoy your trip. I hope you stay safe, and I hope you don't miss your flight. Thank you guys for commenting and responding to me when I asked if this was a video you guys would like to see. I hope you guys got something out of it and learned at least 1 or 2 things, and good luck on planning your trip. Bye.